Police in Vietnam have arrested 8 people over the discovery of 39 bodies in a truck near London last month. All victims are believed to be Vietnamese.
So that brings the number of arrests in the country to 10.
Well, the police chief of Central Nghệ An province, where many of the victims are believed to be from, made the announcement on the arrest earlier today on the in Hanoi on the sideline of a parliament session. But up until now, we do not know about other details about the arrest. Who are those individuals arrested and when the authorities made the arrest? But the police chief chose the words very carefully when he described the arrest today. He said that the investigation and the arrest were made not on human trafficking charges, but on charges of sending Vietnamese abroad illegally.
Well, when the Prime Minister returns to the business of Parliament later this month, it will be a minority government, and that means Justin Trudeau will need the support of other parties to pass legislation. Now, to that, Trudeau is asking for meetings with the leaders of the other parties.
Well, Michael, the Prime Minister wants to go over priorities and come up with a plan on how to work together with the opposition leaders to make this minority government work. Trudeau will have to rely on the other parties if he wants to get legislation passed and if he wants to make this government as functional as possible and to prevent it from falling as well. Trudeau has ruled out forming a coalition, but he needs the support of other parties to make sure that everything is as functional as possible in this next session of Parliament.
As California recovers from devastating fires that scorched nearly 100,000 acres and forced thousands from their homes, the president lashed out at California Governor Gavin Newsom and threatened to pull federal funding, tweeting, "Every year it's the same thing, and then he comes to the federal government for monetary help. No more. Get your act together, Governor." And blasted Newsom's forest management. "I told him from the first day we met that he must clean his forest floors." He doubled down on the South Lawn.
The governor doesn't know. He's like a child. He doesn't know what he's doing. Every year it's always California. It's rarely somebody else or someplace else.
Newsom fired back, "You don't believe in climate change. You are excused from this conversation."
Do you side with Boris Johnson or Nigel Farage if you had to choose?
I like them both. Look, I think Boris is the right man for the times. He's really for the times. He's a great gentleman. He's a wonderful guy. He's tough, he's smart, and I think he's going to do something. I just hope he does it so the U.S., which is by far the biggest economy in the world, not even close. Since I took office, we picked up trillions of dollars, trillions. And frankly, China has lost trillions of dollars, as you very well know. We're far and away the #1 economy in the world. And if you do it a certain way, we're prohibited from trading with the UK. That would be very bad for the UK because we can do much more business than the European Union. So I think Boris will get it right. They're both friends of mine. What I'd like to see is for Nigel and Boris to come together.
Well, indeed, this comes after our weekend operations, and these are conducted across all districts. We have 5 districts according to the municipal borders. So in Johannesburg alone, we arrested over 160 suspects, and in Tshwane, it was also over 160, but most of these were arrested in the big metros. That's your Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, as well as Johannesburg.
Let's talk about some of the offences that have been committed here. What crimes are we looking at?
We're looking at a variety of crimes, especially also in different areas. We've got contact crimes where people have been arrested for incidents such as attempted murder, attempted robberies, and most of these operations also were targeting illegal liquor outlets. So some of them were also arrested for drinking under the influence of alcohol.
It came as a shock. A boat that had been lodged in Niagara Falls for more than a century suddenly came loose, now pointed straight for the edge of the Horseshoe Falls.
Pieces of it have slowly been rusting away, but the view from the Canadian side looks pretty much the way it has for 100 years until Halloween night of this year.
That night brought heavy winds and rain swelling the Niagara River, moving what most thought was an unmovable metal ship. The boat toppled over and pivoted about 150 feet, now just under 2,000 feet from its inevitable fate. Stuck there over 101 years ago.
It broke away from its tug with 2 men on board, and it got stuck just short of going over the Horseshoe waterfall. And they did rescue the 2 men in dramatic fashion.
Optus is going toe-to-toe with Telstra as it steps up the nationwide rollout of its 5G network. Customers previously in black spots can now access high-speed internet, but it comes with a catch.
It looks like a high-tech speaker, but this is Optus's new 5G modem, bringing super high-speed internet to your home. It comes free with unlimited data for $70 a month, but there's one big catch. You have to live within the 5G network. So far, only 140,000 households around the country can tap into Optus's 5G service. That's 1.4% of us. In Sydney, you'll get coverage in pockets of Richmond, Blacktown, Bankstown, Concord and Castle Hill.
In India, it isn't so much bad light, but bad air that could stop play. Delhi, the country's capital, is in the middle of a pollution crisis, although it's not a new occurrence. In 2017, toxic smog led to international cricket players vomiting on the field. This year, the national team played down the problem ahead of its match with Bangladesh. Beyond the field, though, the pollution is an undeniable problem. Now at its worst levels, categorised as hazardous and even causing flight delays and diversions because of smog impact on visibility. People are wearing face masks to protect themselves from the filthy air. Others are taking to the streets to demonstrate against the lack of action to tackle the crisis.